before we come to phase 2, can I ask you questions and then maybe you can write down questions and then you can find out answers on your own. Write down questions. The first one, define globalization. Write down questions. Define the term globalization. And again, explain what do you mean when you say import and export. Again, you have to define the term international business. International business on your own. And then you should be able to explain the role of technology as a facilitator of international business. The role of technology as a facilitator of international business. Right. Let's look at those ones. You can do them on your own. Well, that's what we have covered today. We have covered on technology, and we have covered on those areas, international business, and what is it all about, and import and export. And then let's look at the globalization in details now. We are looking at globalization in details. When we talk about globalization, we will define what globalization is. And we are going to look at the two groups or two types of globalization. And these are globalization of markets and globalization of production. So these are the two major areas that we are going to look at. Globalization of market and globalization of production. But before we look at these two types of globalization, we will first of all define or look at what is globalization. So we have got two: globalization of markets and globalization of production. Globalization of markets and globalization of production. But now, let's define what is globalization. Let's define what is globalization. The word globalization, if we are to define globalization, we are looking at it as a trend. So globalization is looked as a trend. So we are looking at it as a trend towards greater economic, cultural, political, and technological interdependence among nations, institutions, and economies. So we're looking at this as trend towards trends towards a greater economic, cultural, trends towards greater economic, cultural, political, and technological interdependence. Technological interdependence among national institutions and economies. Among national economies, national institutions and economies. National institutions and economies. Let's look at that definition of globalization. We are looking at it as a trend. There are trends towards the greater economic, cultural, political, and technological interdependence among national institutions and economies. Alright, so we're looking at this globalization. That although nations historically, if you look at the historical nations, long time, they are not using the way they are using now. That's what is called globalization. So we're looking at something has changed, as what you have already started when we were introducing this way of globalization. That there is a slight change. You have just switched a little, or there is a greater switch. You have switched from analog to digital now. That's what is called globalization. You are changing from local to something which is like a digital one. That's what is called globalization. That's why this is the definition of globalization is coming in like this. A trend towards a greater economic, cultural. In other words, you are just changing. You are just beating. Economic, cultural, political, things are now changing. That's what it's called globalization. Long time we didn't have multi-party system. But now, because of changing of this of globalization, the definition of globalization, political again is now changing. Economy is now changing. Right? Globalization. So the way the globalization is just more or less like what globalization is doing. It has changed a culture, political, technological, among nations, or their economies have been again affected. That's why we call it globalization. Where again, if you cannot understand what I'm trying to mean here, is that when the issue of globalization, where there is globalization, things totally changed. Things have now totally changed for them. Long time, whether it is for the better or whether it is for worse, but things have changed. That's what it's called globalization. Hence, as this definition implies, globalization involves much more than the expansion of trade and investment among nations. In other words, the issue of theories from political scene, such as sociology, the sociology, the anthropology, philosophy, as well as economics, it is applying in what is called the globalization. Nowadays, things have totally changed. That's why we have got this globalization. Therefore, we will look at this globalization in terms of two areas. So, we'll look at globalization in terms of two areas. There are two areas here. Two areas. So, the first one, globalization of what? Markets. Right? So, we have got what is called globalization of market. And the second one, we have what's called globalization of what? Production. Globalization of production. Globalization of markets and what's called globalization of production. So let's look at these two types of globalization, whether globalization of markets and globalization of production. Let's look at the difference between this globalization of markets and globalization of production. First of all, let's define what is globalization of markets. Once we define, we should be able to give examples of what is happening. Globalization of markets. It just implies the convergence in buying preferences. Convergence in buying preferences. It's just the convergence in convergence in buyers' preferences. Buyers' preference. Convergence in buyers' preference in markets around the world. right? For example, we are looking at these definitions as the convergence in buyer's preference. Convergence in buyer's preference. A very good example, globalization of markets. There are other areas where people do converge. What is to converge? To meet. There are other areas where people meet. So when people meet, they are there to buy. So we are looking at now worldwide. If you look at this global worldwide, there are other people can move from Malawi to UK with the only aim of buying things, bringing things to Malawi. I have even held people going to China or going to Dubai, just going there to buy cosmetics and whatsoever, and they bring it to their country, right? That is what is called globalization of market. In other words, globalization of market, you are moving from your country to another country so that you want to buy products or commodities, right? What are examples of commodities that are being bought using globalization of markets? What are examples of products that are being bought because of globalization of markets? What? Cooking oil. Cooking oil. People, they are converging somewhere just to buy cooking what? Oil. People are converging somewhere. Okay. People are just converging, just to buy clothes. It's happening. People are just converging just to buy clothes. In converging places like markets. People are going to Dubai. What things that when you heard the people going to Dubai? What do they buy in Dubai? Are they cheap there? And even when we need these people have been converging in Japan to buy cars. But now in the cars, they don't converge. What they do is they use online. You write online and then you can buy something online. Strange, right? So we are looking at that. We have got what are called global products and the global competition. No, the issue here is when we talk about global products, we are looking at that there are other products that are needed globally. For example, cooking oil. Nowadays, for what is happening now, the most important product that people need, especially during this rainy season, is fertilizer, right? There must be what is called global products like fertilizer. You see, this year around, we have got crops in gardens that are, you can see that they are nicely done. But do we have fertilizer? We don't have fertilizer because it's very expensive. Right? Very, very expensive. Therefore, the issue of global products is coming in. And again, the fact that we are looking at these global products, you find that there is very great competition, right? As a lot of people are going to China, another country would like again to have its own markets. So global markets are very, very important because sometimes they assist in competition. You find there somewhere they have got a global market, somewhere there is a global market, there is that competition. And that competition can lead to reduction in price of commodities. You know that? Mm-hmm. Then we are looking at what are the advantages of global markets? What are the advantages of these global markets? Global markets are there, one, to reduce marketing costs. They are there in a reduction of marketing costs. When you look at the globalization of markets, you have got a market somewhere, there's another market, there's another market. There is that competition, there is that reduction of marketing costs because we have got so many markets around, right? So companies can sell global products, or companies that can sell global products can reduce costs by standardizing certain market activities. Suppose, like in Japan, there are a lot of cars that are being made, right? And you find that again other cars are found, they are found in either in Germany and whatsoever. And the fact that there are a lot of markets around, that can lead to reduction of costs. Cars, you find other cars, they can hardly being bought. They cannot even be bought because they are maybe, I don't know, preference people. They just leave them as that. So the most important thing is the fact that you are looking at that there are plenty of markets, and these markets are similar markets that can tend to lessening the price or the costs of materials. So that's the first one. The second advantage of globalization, apart from ensuring reduction in marketing costs, we are looking at the creating of new market opportunities. Creation of new market opportunities. When we talk about the creation of new market opportunities, we are looking at that a company that sells a global product can explore much its opportunities abroad if the whole market is small or becomes saturated. So they can think of the other way around. So the fact that we are looking at creation of new market opportunities, we are looking at that the company can sell products and can explore more. Apart from selling, they can explore, right? That is the creation of new market opportunities. The fact that, for example, you can go to Japan, you can go to China to buy cartoon in China, right? And then you can find new market opportunities there. You can go there to buy your commodity that you want, and again, you can think of be taking things from Malawi to there. Hey, you have gone to South Africa. You have gone to South Africa to order jewels, or necklaces and whatsoever, right? South Africa. You can go there to order those things. But while you are there, you can explore much. I think I can bring again things from what? From Malawi to there. You can bring them there. So in other words, what you are doing there, you are creating new market opportunities. So that those market opportunities that you are creating, you want those marketing opportunities you want them to utilize them properly. The moment you utilize them, things will be very, very well. Right? Another element apart from that is an issue of levels and even income streams. 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 Yes, we are looking at advantages of globalization of markets. One, we have defined what globalization of markets is all about. We are looking at well, there must be products and there must be buyer's preference. Again, we are looking at advantages, reduction of marketing costs, and second, creating new market opportunities. Then number three, levels and even income stream. Levels and even income stream. Now, if you look at levels and income stream, what we mean is levels and even income stream. We are looking at that a company that sells a product with the universal but seasonal appeal can use international sales to level its income stream. A company that sells a product with universal but seasonal appeal can use international sales to level its income stream. For example, we are looking at some companies can reduce or can eliminate variation in sales between seasons and steadily its cash flow. They can either use its cash flows. For example, a film can produce certain and certain items, and at the same time they can distribute them in summer seasons, in north or south hemisphere. But again, they can use an alternating way of doing it. So we are looking at that is levels and income stream. You have got a, you have, for example, you have an item. You know that these items, they can be sold. They can be sold in some seasons. You have got other items which can be sold at some seasons. When you are looking at that, you just see, you are there to say, I will take this, I will sell them in the United States, because in the United States, this time around, it's going to be very cold. So you take them, you go there, you sell them. And then you discover that in Japan this time around, they can't like this, they can like this type of clothes. You take them and you sell them in Japan. When you are doing that one, you are trying to level them, you are trying to make them that at least they are becoming at least like an income stream. And again, so when you look at this, when you are looking at this, that you are looking at, you are buying, you are selling things based on seasons. You sell in the United States, you sell another in Japan based on seasons. You are just looking at that one as levels and even income stream. So that is what is called globalization of market. Globalization of market. In other words, globalization of market simply means you are looking at marketing, or the preference of between the buyers in several markets around the world, and that is what is called globalization of markets. The second one we are looking at as globalization of production. Look at globalization of production. What is this globalization of production? Having looked at globalization of markets, let's look at globalization of production. We're talking about globalization of production. We are looking at now. We are looking at disposal of disposal of production activities in a location that help a company achieve its cost minimization or quality maximization objectives for goods or services. So we are looking at globalization of production as disposal. To disperse, it's more or less like as scattering. Globalization is referred to as the dispersal of production activities to location that can help a company achieve its cost maximization. You disperse. It's a dispersal of production activities to locations that help a company achieve its cost maximization, or quality maximization objectives for a goods or service. What do we mean when we talk about globalization of production? What they are trying to mean there is outsourcing of materials. That's what they want. Outsourcing of commodities. That's the most important thing. So the moment you are looking at it as sourcing of key production inputs, such as raw materials or products for assembly, that is what is called globalization of production. In other words, it's international outsource of services. The moment you start outsourcing of materials, that what you are looking at is what is called globalization of production. So globalization of production, simply we are referring to as outsourcing of materials. What are the advantages of globalization of production? So let's look at the following advantages of globalization of production. The first one we are looking at it as access. And the access, lower cost workers. The access, lower cost workers. In other words, where there is a globalization of production, you access lower cost workers, because you say you will try, you say production, people will be flopping, those with the low cost, they'll be coming to your place. So globalization activities will allow companies to reduce overall production costs through access a low cost labor. In other words, low cost labor will be affected because of what is called the globalization of production, low cost workers. And again, apart from low cost workers, we are looking at accessing technical expertise or the expertise. So we are looking at this technical expertise as another element in globalization of production. Why accessing technical expertise? Simply because we are looking at that we're talking about globalization of production. We're looking at production is their companies. So globalization, we're looking at it worldwide. So it's easy for you to access those people who they know better. You say you can go to Japan because they know how to make something. You can go there and outsource workers and they can come and work in your country. Those are the expertise. There are other people they cannot, like in Malawi here, right? Let's look at our Malawi hospitals. We don't have people, we don't have doctors who can transplant any heart whatsoever, the heart or whatever. We don't have something like that. But the only thing is we need to go and what? We need to go and get them out there. We need to outsource them from global. That's the globalization of production. We need to outsource them and have to come here. There are other people who are experts. We are here in Malawi. We have good. This another example is the way our roads are being made. But these roads, you find that those people who are making the roads are what? They are Chinese people, right? They are the Chinese. The fact that we are looking at those people who are doing that and to be Chinese people, what does that mean? It means that if we Malawians, we know nothing. So we are hiring those people from outside, from China, and they come into Malawi, and that's why we call that one as we are looking at it as accessing technical expert. So accessing technical experts, what we mean is that you are trying to access you're trying to get them, so that is because of globalization. Globalization, we're able to exchange. There are other doctors, they are not here in Malawi. You find these doctors that are here in Malawi, they are not from Malawi, but they are either from Britain. They know exactly. So we get them from Britain, we can outsource them from Britain, and they can come into Malawi. And when you are looking at it, those angles, that one is what is called, we're looking at it as we are getting them as those are experts, right? Another area of interest, apart from accessing technical experts, those people who are the technical, they know exactly what they are doing. We have another advantage of this, of globalization of production, that through globalization of production, we are able to access production inputs. We are able to access production inputs. After accessing technical experts, we can now access production inputs. Right? When we talk about accessing production inputs, what do we mean? We are trying to mean that production allows companies to access resources that are unavailable or that are more costly at home. So you are able to outsource those materials that are not found. You can outsource them. That is what is called accessing production inputs. The moment that is the moment you are looking at accessing of production, where you can access, you can access what are called, you can access resources that are not available or that are more costly at home. So in this context now, when we're looking at this context, we are trying to say that again, the way of globalization of production helps a lot. Because through globalization of production, you are able to access, you are able to find out, you can get now these production inputs. You can be able to get resources. You can get resources for your manufacturing, and you can bring them into your country. So despite these benefits, globalization also creates new risks and accumulates old ones for companies. Apart from that, we are looking at it having advantages, but still globalization has got problems. Right? You can look at globalization, that the change of technology, you can get them outside, but it has problems again. So these are problems, there are numerous problems. You look at globalization, that sometimes you think that someone can come and go into your country not knowing that maybe things can be worse. So it has problems. So there are several problems that are there, but now, knowing all these problems, we can, or they are referred to as what they are called challenges. So you need to know you need to come up with what are referred to as forces driving globalization. Because globalization is to do with the problems, then therefore you have to know about the forces driving globalization. So we need to know forces driving globalization.